Brazilian government decided it had to go back to the indigenous people. Indigenous people were a big deal in Agenda 21. So 7,500 people were evicted, and this land was returned to indigenous people who, by the way, had never lived on it. People forced off their land, made homeless by a capricious, powerful government. Okay, now I'm Hillary Clinton. What difference does it make? It makes a difference to 7,500 people in Brazil. Could it happen here? You hungry yet?
No.
Okay. Last year, and I'm not going to get this word right because I'm not good with big French words. Last year, UN Agent Special Rapporteur came to America to check on the rights of our indigenous people, and he said, among other things, that Mount Rushmore and vast other land tracts should be returned to Native American Indians to bring the U.S. into compliance with the UN agenda. That just won't happen here, some say. Oh, really? Listen, in an important pre-Christmas action that received scant media attention, anybody surprised? With scant media attention, our Prez announced appointments to a number of key administration posts, including 9 members to the President's Global Development Council. He did this by, are you ready? Executive order. These appointments are important because they pertain to dispersal of billions of your tax dollars. Get out your wallets, guys. In foreign aid, when it comes to promoting programs and policies of the UN on abortions, population control, homosexual practices, condom distribution, sustainable development, green energy, wealth distribution, social justice, and other issues. Our president, your tax dollar. I've talked to different people who have been immigrants. Dr. Ileana Johnson-Paugh, P-A-U-G-H, she's a Romanian immigrant. She lived under similar Agenda 21 oppression. She's written several books. She wrote and told me she loved my book. A Hungarian artist who lives now in America wrote me a letter. I'll read it to you later. He actually drove from North Carolina to visit my husband and I because he thinks Agenda 21 is important and he wants the word out. He wants a Hungarian translation. A guy in Japan contacted me. He said Agenda 21's really moving fast over there. He wants a Japanese translation. But back to Dr. Paugh. She commented on the State of the Union address. She said there were interesting things in there. The one I want to focus on right now is universal child care that came up in the State of the Union. Daycare, kindergarten, all education by government is part of Agenda 21. And I might add, here I go ahead, go again, tinfoil hat. Communist goal number 41 emphasizes the need to raise children away from the negative influence of their parents. I was going to talk to you about a German family that moved to Tennessee from Germany. Are you guys aware of that one? Do you want to hear about it? Yes. Okay. German family, their kids were being bullied in Germany. The articles I've read do not mention the ethnic groups that were bullying these kids, but they were being bullied because they were Christian. parents pulled the kids out, sought political asylum here. They were granted it. They live in Tennessee. Eric Holder, you've heard that name, haven't you? He's fighting their political asylum. He's fighting them. He wants them sent back to Germany. And if they are, their children will be taken from them. Eric Holder said, I gotta find that. It said that there is, he just says there's no fundamental right to homeschool your children. I'm paraphrasing because I can't find it in my notes. Our children's education belongs to the parents. The parents teach the values. And I'm wondering if Common Core, which is another issue out there, I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but I'm wondering if Common Core isn't part of the Agenda 21 plan to remove the children from the negative influence of their parents. Okay, we know the EPA. If it can call something a pollutant, and I'm honest, once something's a pollutant, it can be taxed, it can be regulated, it can be demonized, it can be whatever the EPA wants, like carbon dioxide. Pay attention. The next pollutant is going to be water. They tried to call water runoff in Virginia a pollutant, and fortunately, the Virginia legislators were smart enough to step in and get the case thrown out. But recently in Maryland, where my son lives, they passed what's called a rain tax, R-A-I-N tax. Have you heard of it? They're going to do aerial surveillance of property and calculate what area on your property, your roof, your driveway, whatever, would contribute to rain off or rain down or rain whatever. The idea, the rationale, I read an article, the rationale is they're trying to protect the Chesapeake Bay from increasing levels of phosphorus and nitrogen, I believe. I can't find anything about what the levels of phosphorus and nitrogen are, except one guy who wrote an article because he had a great big fat grant, and he defined phosphorus and nitrogen, but he really didn't say they were increasing. All they're trying to do is raise tax on the rain. It's not going to change the phosphorus levels in the bay when they raise the taxes. ICLEI, International Council of Local Environmental Initiatives, just changed their name to Local Governments for Sustainability because ICLEI sounds icky. And they select communities to do like a beta program to give these communities money. One of the communities selected by ICLEI was Cranberry, PA. You know where Cranberry is, northern Butler County. The goal is to develop with these disparate communities across the nation a one-size-fits-all sustainability program. Do you really think what they develop in Cranberry is going to fit Titusville? Is anybody against Agenda 21? Yes. More and more and more and more people. The states so far that have passed resolutions against sustainable development and smart growth: Wyoming, Montana, Minnesota, Washington, Oklahoma, Iowa, Texas, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and Arkansas. Now, when Obama heard that, he said, well, at least it wasn't all 57 states. Some counties are passing resolutions at the county level, and they're adopting the language of the Republican National Committee against Agenda 21. So you guys can be proud of your people. Lots of people ask me, what can I do? You can read my book. It's a dark book. If you don't like dark books, then just read the afterword that Glenn put together at the end. It has a lot of really good, credible links. I have found, though, that people who were completely unaware of Agenda 21 and read the book just because they were curious have a heightened awareness. So if you have friends that might not understand what's going on, have them read the book. It's a cautionary tale. I am not here to sell books. Any books that are sold tonight, the money goes to your committee. But I will sign any books you buy, and I won't charge you. Go to your local meetings. Oh, this is all on the website, so I'm not going to give you any more commands. You can figure out what you need to do. And I mentioned the Hungarian. He sent me a book that he had written called Knock in the Night. And his story's non-fiction. It's about his escape from Hungary. But this is what he wrote. Not all of it, but just part of it. It really made me cry when I read this the first time. Dear Harriet, I am so swept away by the book you wrote. Glad Glenn put his name on it for marketing purposes. You have written the fiction of what my people and I lived in Soviet communist occupied Hungary. The Agenda 21 plan of the UN is nothing more than a carbon copy of that same evil and its desire of world dominance. Again, thank you. I hope I didn't talk too long. I hope you could hear me. Did you like my Nancy face?